great to be back on a farm. It's especially great to be here at a great family farm here in Iowa. You know, I grew up south of Highway 40 myself, in southern Indiana. I didn't grow up on a farm, but we had some cows, and I hung out all the time with friends who were on family farms. And this one we're standing on today is so emblematic of everything that's great about family farming. You know, I'm told that Rob Manning is just the latest in a long line of farmers in his family. He's tilled this land and raised animals for 5 generations. And today, the hardworking men and women of Manning Farms have helped the Hawkeye State earn its place as the nation's largest corn producer, second largest soybean producer, and the #1 producer of pork in the country. I mean, the truth is, what you grow here, what you raise here, you export around the world. So would you join me in thanking the Manning family and Rob and the whole team here at Manning Farms for all their leadership and all their contributions to the life of this state and nation. You know, the truth is, what you grow here, what you raise here in Iowa, you export not just across the country, but all over the wider world. So we're going to talk about trade today, which Iowa knows a whole lot about. We're going to talk about a great opportunity for Iowa workers and Iowa businesses. But before that, let me just take a minute to reflect on the progress we've made, because of the confidence the people of Iowa placed in this president and our administration back in 2016. You know, when I think of the last 3 years, there's really only one way I can describe it. It's been 3 years of action. It's been 3 years of results. It's been 3 years of promises made and promises kept. But we're just getting started, Iowa. I mean, think about it. After 8 years of the weakest post-recession economy since the Great Depression, President Trump said that we could get this economy moving again if we put common sense, conservative principles, and free enterprise into practice. President Donald Trump delivered. This president's actually signed more bills rolling back federal red tape than any president in American history. And this president actually signed a measure that would ensure that farmers and ranchers can control and own their land in fee simple, as we like to say. Private property was restored when the president repealed the disastrous waters of the USA rule. And President Trump also kept the promise when he signed the largest tax cuts and tax reform in American history. We cut taxes across the board for working families, for businesses large and small. And when he did that, we ended the death tax for nearly every American farmer. Death is no longer a taxable event. And we also passed reforms that made it possible for farmers to immediately deduct 100% of the cost of new equipment. Anybody around farming knows those input costs play a critical role in the vitality of farming, and being able to literally write off those costs in a single year made a tremendous difference. So it's been about rolling back red tape. It's been about cutting taxes. But we've also unleashed American energy. Did you know next year the United States will be a net exporter of oil for the first time in 75 years? And last week, I want to tell you, with the strong leadership of Governor Reynolds and with the unrelenting leadership of Senator Grassley and Senator Ernst, President Trump announced an agreement on the renewable fuel standard that will ensure net production reaches 15 billion gallons every year. I want to thank your senators and your governor for being such champions of renewable fuels. I mean, Iowa's not just going to be feeding the country; we're going to continue to fuel the country as well. So as we cut taxes, roll back regulation, unleash American energy, the results have been amazing. Since Election Day 2016, Businesses large and small in the city and on the farm have created 6.5 million new jobs, including 22,000 jobs right here in the Hawkeye State. But I'm here today, my friends, because for all the progress we've made, we've still got work to do. Because as you heard from this stage earlier, we have an incredible opportunity before us. Over 1 year ago, President Trump negotiated the largest trade deal in American history, the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement. I was there all along the way for a lot of the negotiations, and I'll tell you what, the President drove a hard bargain. He put American jobs, American workers, and American farmers first. Negotiated a great deal. But as I stand before you today, Speaker Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in Congress have refused to bring it to the floor of the House of Representatives. And that's why I'm here. I came to Iowa today to turn up the heat. I came to Iowa today to say it's time for the Democrats in Congress to do their job, put politics aside, and pass the USMCA this year. The truth is, and we all know it, Democrats have been spending all their time on endless investigations and a partisan impeachment. But enough is enough. The American people deserve better. And the time has come. The time has come for Congresswoman Cindy Axne and all the Democrats in Congress that represent Iowa to put Iowa first, put America first, and pass the USMCA this year. I'll make you a promise. Whatever the Democrats in Congress choose to spend their time on, President Trump and I are never going to stop fighting for you and the agenda that Iowa voted for in 2016. Count on it. We're not going to allow Democrats in Congress to distract us from working on behalf of all of you and the people of this country. We're never going to stop delivering on a strong national defense, secure borders, more conservative judges to our courts, and jobs, jobs, jobs. We're never going to stop fighting for that agenda because that agenda's made America great again. So I stand before you today, our nation and our liberties are more secure. Unemployment's at a 50-year low, and more Americans are working today than ever before. And the truth is, the American economy has come roaring back because of the leadership of this president, because of the strong support of our allies in the Congress and in state houses around the country. But I want to assure you, the President and I also know this economy has mostly come back because of all of you. Because given the opportunity of more freedom, more opportunity, the American people have stepped up. And with their hard work and dedication and commitment, you've brought the American economy back. It's one story at a time, one family at a time. And the truth is, it's stories like a farmer that I heard about on the way here, nearby in Dallas City, whose family's been a pillar of the community for generations. In fact, I was told today that when they first started out, his family used draft horses to plow their fields and had to practically feed their livestock by hand. But today, that same farm has drawn national attention by using state-of-the-art technology. They're producing more crops at a lower cost. They're making this community, this state, and this nation proud. So would you join me in recognizing Tom Barrett and the whole Barrett family farm? Where are y'all? So we also have with us the first generation owners of a farm just a few miles down the road. They started it 3 decades ago with just a few dollars to their name. And since then, they've grown that farm to more than 150 employees, hundreds of head of cattle and hogs, and as they've said, most importantly, it's where they raised their 4 daughters and 2 sons. They are proof of the American dream, this first-generation family farm. So would you join me in giving a warm round of applause to 2 hard-working farmers here in Iowa that represent everything that's great about agriculture. Brett and Teresa Voss, where are you? Take it back. There you go. Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Teresa. I mention these 2 families because they're really emblematic of each and every one of you. They're proof that you give American farmers and American workers a level playing field, that our farmers and our ranchers and our workers can compete and win with anyone in the world. It's the truth. And that's why, since the first day of this administration, we've been working to open up markets all over the world. I'm proud to report to you that President Trump renegotiated our trade agreement with South Korea. Earlier this week, the President actually signed agreements with Japan that not only will expand digital trade, but will expand agricultural trade by billions of dollars a year to Japan. This President's also put China on notice that the era of economic surrender is over. We've taken a strong stand to demand that China open their markets to what we make and what we grow and treat American businesses fairly. The President's been taking a strong stand, but in just the last few weeks, China announced the purchase of more than 2 million metric tons of soybeans. And as I learned on the way here from our U.S. trade representative, we're going to welcome the Chinese delegation to our nation's capital a little bit later this week. The negotiations are going forward with China, but I promise you, President Trump is going to continue to stand strong for American workers and American farmers. So we've made great progress, but make no mistake about it. As you've heard from this stage today, when we get the USMCA done, it's going to be a big win for America and a big win for American farmers. I mean, the truth is, we're gathered here today on this beautiful farm on this breezy day because it's time for Congress to act. It's time for Congress to pass the USMCA. And you know what? According to the International Trade Commission, the USMCA is going to add about $68 billion to our economy right out of the gate. And we predict conservatively that it'll create more than 175,000 new jobs. They also propose that the USMCA will increase American agricultural exports by more than $2 billion. Now here in Iowa, this great state already exports more than $6.6 billion in goods and services to Canada and Mexico every year. In fact, nearly half of all of Iowa's exports go to Mexico and Canada. And nearly 100,000 good-paying Iowa jobs depend on exports. That's why your governor, that's why your senators, that's why your president are demanding that Congress pass the USMCA and pass it this year. Iowa's depending on it. And the truth is, Iowa's farmers and ranchers really have the most to gain. Since this great state is the nation's second largest agricultural exporting state, it produces more than $10.3 billion in goods every single year. And under the USMCA, we know these numbers are only going to grow, supporting jobs and opportunities and families across Iowa. It's going to create more prosperity all across this state. And that's why I wanted to come here to talk about it. The truth is, we can get it done, but it's going to take all of us to do it. I came here to turn up the heat, but now it's time for Iowans to turn up the heat on your Democrats in Congress and tell them Iowa needs the USMCA this year. Will you do it?